Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on, 9th of February 2021. So, looking at the markets this morning, overnight we've seen a bit of a flurry, which I'll talk about in a moment, but generally we're seeing a bit of dollar softening coming through at this stage again. I wouldn't get too excited about it in the market. Some in it are asking the question, is it over this sort of dollar squeeze move? But we'll see. Fundamentally today, data-wise, we got nothing out of any significance. It's really a very low week in terms of data, as it normally is after non-farms. It's the second week in the month, or second full week in the month, and it's there's little to talk about there of significance. So there we are. So fundamentally, no risk data sitting there that I think will move the markets, which leaves us to obviously political data. Well, the conversations will continue in the US, I'm sure, and Draghi being voted in to run the Italian government, it looks like it's quite a stroke of genius in some respects, because well, everyone thinks of him as a safe-ish pair of hands, and quite in a place where he might actually start to try and shape the Italian debt, etc., in a better way at least. So overall, optimistic-ish for the euro in the short term maybe, but I'm just a bit wary that this could be a bit overdone. If you traders may be expecting it to run all the way back to the highs there, which it might do, but we'll see. For now, it's pushing up okay. Today it's pushed up quite well, the euro dollar, and well, most of that through that Asian session there just after midnight, kicking through strongly. At the moment, looking a bit iffy where it sits. It's got a bit of divergence where it is, well away from its daily pivot. It's got some potential. We'll see what it does, but the high lows, higher highs still suggest further upside. This soft movement at the moment may suggest a bit of a retrace, but we'll see post 8 o'clock. I've got no sort of, I'm already long on the euro, to be fair. We called it long in our trading room yesterday afternoon. Got a bit more mileage for that to happen at the moment. Just looking at coming out the time frames, back up the higher time frames here, target wise, I mean that 4 hourly 100 may come into play as a bit of a draw. If it was to break that, well, we could see sort of a further move up towards the weekly R1, that 4 hourly 200 eventually. So I'm optimistic on it to a degree, but short term I think it could have a bit of a rollback. Okay, there's potential at least. The pound. Okay, the pound yesterday, again, it struggles around its prior highs here, but for a change, at least to start with, I should say, we've pushed out of that supply zone. That supply zone over the last couple of weeks, every time the market was getting anywhere into it, it was selling straight away. This time we seem to be holding at the moment. The sell-offs have been quite quick when they've happened. So we've seen them sort of, okay, a few of them are stalled a bit, but some of them are the very next bar or the very same bar when we've seen them coming off. So we'll see how this progresses, but at the moment the pound is looking pretty strong out there. Again, though, consolidation with a bit of divergence around here, although this current bar actually is looking like it may even want to take out the previous bar. It's one of these markets where it's got ahead of some. I mean, the consolidation might just continue this morning. If it does, these divergences would disappear effectively, or the strength of them. Consolidation around the highs suggests further upside, and that's what we might see in both the euro and the pound here. Dollar yen. Well, the yen, goodness, I was looking at it yesterday at one stage thinking, well, I could get down towards that weekly pivot. Let me just come back out a little bit here. It's really had quite a move here, put quite a bearish signal there, 2 shooting stars. It's rolled over this today, and it's certainly, as I say, gone well below that weekly pivot. Lower high confirmed in this market at the moment. Well, the yen's on a bit of a run, but again, it's softened a little. I say softened. There's divergence around here. Getting into a trade here, you really need to wait for a bit of a retrace or some consolidation and a breakdown. I wouldn't be just trying to sell into these lows. Obviously, it could be quite risky. So there's some things to do on some of these markets. The Aussie dollar pushed up again yesterday, so we had the bullish engulfing. It's pushed up, similar to the euro dollar in that respect. And divergence, no, not quite actually. It's pushed through the divergence on my RSI here, but anyway, it's having a bit of a retrace at these levels. The more these markets can hold on to their sort of highs around these areas, the more likely at some point we just see maybe a trend line across the highs here, and it turns into a bit of a flag pattern and got the potential. Has got the daily pivot untouched below. And I mean, with all these markets, all of a sudden they could switch around, in which case these would be decent targets. But at the moment, if I see consolidation, I would expect further upside there on the Aussie. Canadian dollar. Really, it's not moved quite to the extent that the other markets have. I thought it would have moved a bit better in some respects. Maybe it's just been held up quite well, particularly with the price of oil shoving up there. It makes the Canadian oil situation not so bad. But yeah, anyway, there you are. Sold off quite strongly. Have nothing here to do at this stage. Again, consolidation around the lows. Potential if this was to start shifting up for a move back towards that daily pivot, but at the moment, as I say, these markets just look a little bit well, the dollar weakness is the key factor, so not a lot more to be said on that. I'll look at a couple of the crosses. The the Aussie Yen that you guys like to have a quick look at. I'll have a quick look at that. The same situation on the short term, hardly moving on the dailies here, but it has started breaking back again today a little bit. So at the moment it's breaking back, heading south. I'm just sort of looking, it's already through its daily pivot. Yen has just literally gone so strong, really, I suppose, and it's moved that bit further, and a bit is that bit stronger. But well, it was promising the potential of a breakout last week and held up quite well last week, and well, it's this week it's gone the distance a little bit more. Anyway, that's the Aussie Yen. Aussie New Zealand dollars, everyone. It's so often looked at, and well, it's not too far short of its monthly pivot, monthly pivot. Get the right one. Just above there. Now I'm just looking. It's just consolidating a little bit more here on the 4-hourly. So I was wondering whether we'd see a bit more downside. I'm waiting for the downside potential on this, so I'm sitting waiting. But I would much more prefer that monthly pivot to be hit, and then we see a bit of a correction, potential correction. Daily bar yesterday, doji, but in this sort of dollar weakness market, well, we'll see what happens. It's just not really moving too much. Status quo at the moment. Looking then at the S&Ps. Not too much to be said here. I just keep on saying, don't stand in front of the bus. As ever, I still get questions of, do you think it's weakening? When do you think it's weakening? I don't think there's a chance of that substantially weakening for some time, and I think any retracement is a buy opportunity, and I'm going to leave it like that. There's too many people losing their money trying to short it. Okay, you can intraday short it and be fine, but that's about the extent of it. Okay, so weaker dollar, gold pushing up a little bit here, to be expected. Higher lows coming through on the 4-hourlies there. Again, consolidation around the highs here, bit of divergence. Just it really, as I say, depends. Pretty much like the currencies there, euro, etc. If it can consolidate around here, maybe we'll get a breakout later and a continuation, or maybe even like that for the rest of the day with gold. For those silver buyers out there, silver is making a bit more of a correction of this move. I just put this regression channel on yesterday, just to the prior lows there, just to see where it was in shape here, and okay, it's pushing towards the upper side of that again in a sense. a steady growth would be easier and more potential of holding on, but it is pushing up. There are some calls for it to be at sort of $30 towards the end of the year, so I'm not surprised at the movement on silver there, and it's still probably hitting the headlines on some web platforms, media platforms. There we go. Finally, oil. Again, I'm not standing in the way of this, just got to accept that this is going to be pushing up for now. There we go. It's certainly not a selling tool. Maybe buying on the dips at the moment if there's good news. A bit of a retrace. There may be opportunities to be buying on those dips. Right, that's pretty much there. I will look at Bitcoin on the futures here. Tesla obviously grabbing the headlines yesterday with the suggestion that they will eventually sell their car. They bought a stack of Bitcoin plus. I mean, they just bought it, and they bought it probably into these levels here. But either way, it doesn't really matter. The fact they mentioned they bought it and they will accept Bitcoin for their cars. Well, there you go. This is what we're seeing, and it's pushing up nicely at the moment. Right, that's pretty much it for me. I wish you a great day. I'll catch you in the morning. Bye for now.